This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So first of all, we have a keyword called abstracting, right? So what is this keyword? So first of all, abstract nothing but the definition of the keyword is hiding. So this abstract keyword we can apply in a two levels, right? So first one is method level. Whenever you apply abstract keyword in a method level, right? So what will happen, team?
There, it has no
So
body,
whenever
and
you
class
correct.
should be abstract.
Whenever you apply abstract keyword for a method, that is what your intention is. You don't need to give the implementation. You don't want to give the implementation. When we can go for abstract method, team, let's say, so I am creating one class. So let's say this is my Ola class. So here now I'm introducing Ola cab. So now here, so I'm creating a class Ola and I'm creating a method public void book Ola cab. But here I'll implement a code for right now. So next year I wish to introduce Ola bike. Right now, as of now, I don't want to implement the code. Just I want to maintain a method functionality. At that time, you can take public abstract book Ola bike. Right? So whenever you say abstract method, so your class should act as an abstract class. Inside a normal class, this is a plain class team, not an abstract class. Inside a plain class or a normal class, you should not maintain, or people will call general class, you should not maintain an abstract keyword. Either this class must be changed to abstract class, or else you have to provide method implementation for this method. Right? So here return type is missing, right? Either so you have to implement method body for this class, or else you have to change this class as an abstract class. Observe, remove method body because it's what abstract method. So either you have to remove this method body or abstract keyword. You should not maintain both abstract keyword and method body. Observe, I'm removing this method body because so at this point of time I don't know the implementation of this functionality. Now why I'm getting error again here? So inside a general normal class you should not maintain abstract method. Now this class must change to abstract class. Now who is responsible to implement this one? This method, abstract method, child class here itself. Or else if you want you can take interface. So by default, let's say if this is an interface, so no need to mention here abstract on here. Whenever I say interface here, so this is also getting error. You should not maintain a method code. So whenever the people start with any project, they'll start with what? Interface. Interface. Right now always people start any project with an interface. Now, by default, inside an interface, so if you say any method, that should be public and abstract. Whether you mention or not mention, here there is a keyword called abstract. If you are trying to give the implementation for this method, you will get a error here. Then who is responsible to give the implementation for these methods?
Child class.
Child class or implementation class. So here you can take a class, let's say bike, or you can say cab. This is my class. How to make a relationship between interface and class team? Implements. Like this. Whenever you say implements your interface, now so all the methods what are the present inside of your interface, those methods will come with method body. Here you have to provide implementation. Here interface is equals to fully abstract class. What is mean of fully abstract class team? All are abstract methods. Right? Now, can we create object for abstract class?
No.
Can we create object for a class?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can create, but the condition is that class should not contain abstract methods.
Yeah.
Right? And can we create object for interface?
No.
So can we create object for a class using interface reference?
Yeah. Parent reference for child object.
Exactly. We can create object for a class using it's a parent class reference or parent interface reference. Clear team? Now, what is the advantage of interface team? Naresh?
Yes.
What is the advantage of interface?
Yeah, we can use multiple inheritance using inheritance.
Okay. Any other?
You can hide the details, implementation details.
Okay.
Same
Suppose
method
multiple.
with a different implementation.
Very good. The first one is, so if you want to have same method names with different implementation. Yesterday we have seen example. So here I have a interface called MS Office. Right? Hope you have remember
Yeah.
MS Office. Right? Now here I'll maintain a methods public, whether you mention or not mention, that should be abstract, public void create file. So this is an abstract method. Now I have one more, the public void save file. Right? Now, who has to give the implementation for this methods team? Your child classes. You have to take a child class using a keyword called implements. Here you have to provide implementation for these methods. So whenever you say implements, these all the methods come with a method body. What the method here we have team public void create file. Here what the code I have to create. Let's consider this is an Excel Word file. Here you have to write a code for create Word file. Very simple example team. Public void save file. Here what the code you have to provide inside the save file. Here you have to provide save Word file. Right? Let's say if you are having a one more class, Here also I have to provide implementation. Let's consider this is an Excel class. Here, so this method save Excel file. Here, first of all, what I'm getting to here, first of all, here I'm maintaining the same methods to avoid end user difficulties. Here I'm trying to maintain a common method with different implementation based on my class name. So if it is a Word file, here I'm having a method called create file. Internally, what the code it is having, create a Word file. So if it is an Excel class, same method. What is the method in here? Create file. But internal code, what how it is work? It will create a new Excel file. Here, how to execute this method stream? So the best way is create an object of a class using a parent interface reference. If you create object by using its parent interface, now by the time of compilation, from where it will show in parent interface. Actually, do we have any implementation in parent interface? No. Just we are highlighting the functional name, functionalities. What the functionalities we can provide inside this interface. And so execution depends upon always method execution
Runtime.
depends on runtime
Runtime.
object. What the object you are creating based on that object. Now the class name reference. Let's say so if I want to call this create file from Excel class, how you look at it? So if you want, you can create Excel equal new Excel. So the best way is create object of Excel using this MS Office interface reference. Right now here you have to call object reference. Here we would not say object in. Here I am saying as a reference. This is a object of Excel class, reference of MS Office. Excel dot create file. By the time of compilation, it will show from where? It will show
Interface.
from interface. But actually execution from where?
Child implementation class.
Excel class. Always remember execution depends upon runtime object. Here, what is the runtime object in Excel?
Excel.
Clear?
Yeah.
This is the actual meaning of abstraction. But so in Java nowadays, people are violating this rules team, abstraction rules. So going forward, we'll discuss as of now. So for time being, understand inside interface, we can maintain only abstract method. What does it mean by abstract method? Method with abstract keyword, method without a body, method without implementation. All are referring same. And going forward, if you want, you can maintain method implementation in interface level. So here that is nothing but so violating abstraction rules because of the competition of between Python and coming up languages. So Java people also there are some violations to this object-oriented program system. If you want, you can maintain implementation methods in a inside interface. No problem. But as of now, for time being, understand inside interface we can maintain abstract methods. Until Java 1.7, we can maintain only abstract methods team. 1.6. From 1.7, people are introducing few more concepts in interface level. Okay. For time being, earlier versions, Java interfaces only allows abstract methods only. Still, so here you cannot maintain a public method. Observe. Let's say this is my class, right? So if you want, you can maintain one more method here. No problem at all. Public void test method. Observe. So this test method, so if I maintain in a class level, I'm not getting any error. Now observe, I'm maintaining in a interface level. I'll get an error because public implementation methods you cannot maintain. That's a key point you have to remember for time being. So limitations and new features we'll discuss later. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so and one more thing discuss, right? So at a time you can implement more than one interface. What that concept? Multiple inheritance possible in interface level. Clear, team?
Yeah.
Still any questions? Interface?
No.
Naresh?
Yes, no.
Thanks, team. Now we'll discuss for a small important concept called constructor, team. Very important. If you understand this concept, so 50% of Java you can understand him.
Okay.
So the 50% of Java concept is only depends upon the constructor. So very important one, and you can expect some more interview questions. So if you understand this concept, you can understand any concept. Right? Now the keyword is constructor. So one of the component in Java. Now before this discuss, now one by one. So until now, today, what you have know about methods, team? What you can do using a method? First of all, what is a method? What is a syntax? What you can do and what you can achieve using a method? One by one. I'll ask one by one. So we go with Ashwini. Tell me at least one point.
Yeah, using methods, you
Mhm.
can implement method body.
Very good.
Yeah. In a method signature is public void method
Mhm.
method name,
Mhm.
and can implement the method overloading and method overriding using
Very
methods.
good. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Into Bhavya. Bhavya.
Generally method is group of we can run we can write a code which only runs when it is called.
Okay.
And there are two types of methods. One is
Mhm.
predefined method and one is user defined method.
Good point.
And main method is most commonly used predefined method and
Very
an
good.
important method.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's it.
Good. Thanks. Moving to Naresh.
Yeah. Yes, method is collection of statements. Yeah, it executes several statements, and
Okay.
we can use with method with return the values and without return the values. Yeah,
Very good.
and when defined and user defined.
Good.
Yeah.
Right. Very good. Now, so method is nothing but a function or a command, right? So simply, if I want to say simply, I can say it's a executable block. Executable block, right? So where you're writing a code, team, whatever the code you want to write, that should be inside a class, right? And inside a method. Yes or no? Outside
Yeah.
of the method, can we write any code outside of the method?
No.
No, right? cannot write any code outside of the method except variable declaration. If you want, you can declare a global variables, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except variable declaration, outside of the method, you cannot write anything, right? Now, whatever the code you're writing, that should be inside a class, inside a method, right? Code. So as of now, for we are keep on practicing what code we are writing where inside a method. So the first use of method is to write a source code inside a method, right? And now, so and next one, we can pass parameters. Yes or no?
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
passing int a comma int b. So considering as a local variables. So when we have to initialize this variable by the time of calling the method. Yes sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So using a method, even we can return what? What we can return?
Values.
Objects.
Right? So we can return a values, any data type. Values nothing but you can return a
Any.
int, byte, short, float, double, any data type. And even you can return a objects, and also if you want, you can return references also. What does it mean by reference? What does it mean by reference team?
Like object reference.
Exactly. So object reference nothing but when we are calling a reference team. So whenever you create object by using it's a parent interface reference or parent class reference. Let's say here I'm having a class called A. My class A having a one more class called B. Here, so as of now, my B and A are independent classes. Now let me make a relationship. How to make relationship between two classes team?
Extends.
Extends. Extends B. Right? So here B is child or parent.
Child class.
Parent.
Sorry, parent class.
So always remember before extends keyword, this is child class.
Child.
Now here, now so here what object I have to prefer for creation? A class or B
Child.
class?
A class.
Child class. A
Class.
equals to u of A. Right? Now here the A is objective here. Object of what? A class. Now for a class, if you want, you can create object like this, or else if you want, you can create one more way. What is that way?
Parent reference.
Parent reference. Here, what is my parent? B class.
B.
Now instead of A, let me make it as AB. Right? Here AB is, what is AB team?
Object of
Friends.
Difference of B and A.
yeah.
Right? Now, same thing. So already we discussed. So by using a method, we can return an object, right? Now let me return a class object here. Now I'm creating a method called public void return a object method name. For my convenient purpose, just I'm giving here. Now, if I want to return, so pay attention team. I have to maintain the syntax like this. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So as of now, is this returning team?
No.
One second team. Method endpoint, class endpoint. Okay. Okay. Now, so how to return this object team?
Return keyword using return
Where I have to use the return keyword?
end of this method.
End of this method. So we have to return what?
EA. Yeah.
A. Anything? Semicolon. Right? Now why I am getting error here?
Return type.
Always your return type should match with your return statement. Here I am trying to return a class object. My return type should be A here. Observe, change method return type to A. Right? So this is returning A object. Now let me create one more method. Public void return B reference. Observing here I am trying to return B reference here. Return B, sorry, A object. Observe. Here return type should be
B.
B or A. Always try to give a parent one.
Oh.
Parent one can hold child class objects. Remember, observe here. Now, this is a class object. Parent class can hold it. Observing here. Now, I'm repeating one more time. For a class, you can create object using a self class reference, and also you can create object using a parent class reference and parent interface reference. Right? Now, so for a parent class, you cannot create object using a child class reference. Observe here. Here, what is my child class? A class, right? Now, A, let's say BA equals to new B. Vice versa is not allowed. You can create object of a child class using parent interface. So parent class or parent interface. This is allowed. This is not allowed. Here what not allowed? Creating parent class object using a child class reference. Any confusion, team?
No.
Thanks. Right? Observe here. Here returning AB. This AB is what? Parent reference type and child class object. Here parent reference type can hold child class object. So here you should not maintain A. If you are trying to maintain A, it will give you error because A is a child, right? Now it should be parent class type B. No questions, right?
Yeah.
No. So we can return a values, we can return an object, even we can return a reference to using return statement, right? And fourth one, so we can overload methods. What is mean by overloading?
Having same method names with different arguments or different
Method with
Parameters.
Same name. Methods same names and with different parameters.
where? In between two classes or a single class?
In
Within a
between
class.
a single class. Sorry.
Single class.
Always highlight methods with having with the same name differentiated by parameters or number of parameters within the same class. Right? Now, so even we can override methods. Now the method signature. Tell me the method signature, team.
Method name, and with parameters.
Access specifier.
So syntax is access specifier or access modifier, return type.
Method
If you
name.
want, you can use static or non-static, and method name, parentheses, parameter.
Parameters.
So this is a method body. Here you can write so source code, whatever your logic here. Now, so let me summarize few points again. These points. So by using methods, so first of all, we can write source code. We can pass a parameter. We can return values. We can return object. Even we can return references. Reference is nothing but either it may be parent class reference or parent interface reference. We can overload a method. We can override a method, and method syntax is access specifier or modifier with static or without static, return type, method name, and parameter. Now, go anywhere team, go anywhere, people will tell you constructor is same like a method. Constructor is same like a method. So already we have a method. Then what is the purpose of constructor again? There could be some sort of difference. Yes or no? Otherwise, what is the purpose of introducing methods with different name? Right? So go anywhere, any blog, any site, any video, people will tell you constructor is same like a method, but there is some sort of difference team, right? Now, so let's see what is the difference between method and constructor. So for time being, for understanding purpose, I'll compare constructor with method so that you can able to understand very easily, right? Now, let me create a package called constructor. Right now, let's say I'm having a class called A team. If you want, you can take anything. So I'm keep on taking only A. Whole. Right. Class. Right. Now, so if I'm having a method called public void test method. So inside I'm having a dummy code. So test method. Now tell me team, how to execute this method?
Object creation
So where I need to create object?
in main method.
So first of all, so we should have a main method. Very good. So how to create object? Class name,
Object difference.
new class name, a dot object reference or test method. If I execute this one, this test method will execute, run as Java application. Nothing great. Already we know from a day one onwards, we are keep on discussing the same thing. Now observe team. So the method syntax is access specifier. If you want, you can take a static or non-static. As of now, I'm taking non-static. Return type and method name, parentheses, and method body. Now observe. So this is my method. Now observe the constructor syntax team. So constructor syntax is. So first of all, same access specifier or access modifier. So there is no return type and static keyword team. Here we should not take a return type or static keyword. So access specifier, as of now, I am taking a public access specifier. There is no return type, there is no static keyword. Now, so next what method name, method syntax, here you have to provide constructor name. But remember team, constructor name always your class name. You should not take other than class name. Here what is my class name?
A.
A. So same after the name parenthesis and my constructor body, this one. System.out.println. Now a class constructor. Right. Now, so anyway, so if you have a method, you can execute by calling this using object reference. Now, so I want to execute this constructor team. How to execute? If it is like a same method, so how to execute team? How we are calling? This is your here line number 15. We are calling method here. Now, if it is like a same like a method, how we have to call here? So
By object.
Object reference method name. Here also you have to call object reference and constructor name. This is my constructor name. This is my constructor name. Why I am getting error team? So here this is not a way to execute or call your constructor. This is not possible. Then how can we execute? Observe carefully team. So here before constructor, so if I execute, what the output I have got?
Test method.
Test method. Now, if I execute the syntax, observe by seeing the output, you may get wonder. Observe the output team. Observe carefully. Pay attention. Run as Java application. Guess team. What could be the output?
A class constructor test method.
Observe. Run as Java application. Am I calling anywhere a class constructor?
No.
Here internally I am calling team. Line number 14. What is line number 14 team?
Object
Creation.
Very good. Object creation. What is the syntax of object creation?
Class name, new and
Class name, object name, you can take anything, equals to new keyword and
class name of
class name. But until now, this is a class name. Now from now onwards, so this should be
constructor.
So observe it. If it is a class name, object name is called a new class name. Why this parenthesis? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So internally, what I'm doing here, so whenever your this 15th line will execute, so first of all, it will create memory for your class and also it will execute your class constructor. Any confusion?
No.
Just be with me. I'll clarify one more thing. So here you have to get one question here. Observe here. Now line number 17. What I'm doing here?
Calling method.
I'm calling a method. Now observe. Let me remove my method here. If I remove my method, I am getting error in line number. Wherever I am calling that method, I am getting error. Now, let me remove this constructor. Am I getting error in line number 15?
No.
No. Here, whenever your class is not having constructor, but before that, syntax of a class object creation is class name, object name equals to new constructor. So if your class having a constructor, no problem, it will execute this constructor. But if your class not having constructor, but here, so what I'm giving a statement, object creation of a class, syntax of object creation is constructor class name, object name is equal to new constructor. Here, if your class having a constructor, this will execute this constructor. So observe, if you want to confirm once, just control click navigating to here. So anyway, this is navigating here, right? But observe, if your class not having a constructor, but so if I'm saying the correct statement, it has to give error here, like my method. If I'm not having a method, here it is giving error, right? So the same consider same thing. here I'm not having constructor. Line number here also, by the time of creating object, calling constructor, it has to throw an error.
Yes.
But here it is not throwing any error, because the reason behind is constructors are two types. The first one is default constructor. Second one is parameterized. Okay. Now, so this constructor, so here we are calling as, this one is default constructor. Now observe, I want to maintain one more constructor. How to maintain it? I want to maintain one more constructor.
You can pass a parameters in another.
Here you want to pass parameter. Line number 9.
If you want to, you can pass. This is the default constructor.
Observe. So here I want to maintain one more constructor team. Observe, this is my another constructor. Getting error. Can I change my constructor name?
No.
Why?
The class name and constructor name should be same.
Very good. Always you have to maintain constructor name same like your class name. If you are trying to give a different, it will give you error. Now if you observe here, so if you are trying to give other than your class name, by default it is considering what? It is considering like a method. Boss, you are missing return type. It is saying. Observe. Always your constructor name should be class name. My class name is A here. I want to maintain one more constructor. If you want, you can maintain by parameter. This is A class default constructor. This is A class single parameter constructor. Now again I want to maintain, I'd like to maintain one more constructor team. Again, I'd like to maintain one more constructor.
This time you can pass a 2 parameters.
Very good. So here, so I'd like to maintain one more constructor. Here you have to maintain one more constructor. Now, by seeing these constructors, getting any concepting?
Constructor overloading.
Overloading.
Yeah.
Overloading.
So this is same like a method overloading. Their method with the same name differentiated by parameters. Here, constructor
Names.
same name differentiated by parameters. So this is we are calling as constructor overloading. Right. Now, so anyway, so as of now, let me remove this stuff. Now, if I execute this one, what is the outputting?
A class defaulter, like first constructor.
Observe. A class default constructor. Right. Now I want to execute a class single parameterized constructor. How?
We can pass a parameter
Where we have to pass a parameter?
inside a class name.
inside this parenthesis, now observe here, this is
Default.
calling default constructor, right? Now if you want, so you can call one more constructor by passing a parameter. What type of parameter it is asking? So here I am passing a parameter integer type. Now, so constructor to constructor, you have to create an object team and concentrate on this line, single line. Now in this line, line number 21, what I am trying to do, team? So here I am trying to create an object of this class, a class. And also, so along with object creation here, what will happen, team? It will execute this class default constructor.
Yeah.
And line number 23. Here, what I'm doing, team? So first of all, it will create object of this class, and also it will execute a class parameterized constructor. That too, single parameterized constructor. This one. If you want to execute double parameter and create object one more time, pass matching parameters. So for constructor to constructor, you have to create an object. The syntax itself, class name, object name equals to new
Constructor name.
constructor name. Always remember, people will tell you class name, object name is new class name. But is actually, it is not a class name, object name is new class name. It is a class name, object name is called new constructor name.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Single default constructor, single parameter, double parameter constructor. Now coming to the question. So if I don't having a method name, so method, by the time of calling method, I'm getting error. But here, if I'm don't having this constructor, so by the time of calling this constructor, earlier I'm not getting any error.
Yeah.
So let me show you another class. So let's say this is my B class. Inside a B class, I'm having a method called test method. Void test method. Now let me have a constructor. Now tell me the syntax of constructor, team.
Public
Public
B. B.
Type.
No return type. Only access modifier and class name.
Okay, tell me here I'm not getting any error. Why? What could be? Okay, so always, so even if you maintain, if you want, you can maintain a method name with a class name. Whenever you mention a return type, so by default your program, it will consider this is a method, not a constructor. So always remember, constructor should not contain method return type. So if it is not having a return type, and also you should not maintain return statement. So syntax itself, there is no return type concept. You should not maintain return statement. Observe here. If you are trying to maintain, so by default it will consider it is
Method.
a method. Right? Always remember. So constructor, there is no return type, there is no return statement, and the name should be class name. Okay. Now, so this is default B class constructor. Right. Now, I want to execute this test method in a B class team. How to execute? Class name, object name equals to class name, object name equals to new
Class name of
Constructor.
Right. Now, observe B dot test method. Now, if I execute, what is the output?
test and default B class construct.
Obviously, known as Java application, right? So here, so this default B class constructor is executing in which line?
14 internal
Line number
calling.
14. So test method calling from, so line number 15. So whenever you
15.
mention like this, it is coming to here and execute this one. But my question is, so if you don't have this test method, you will get an error.
Yeah.
Line number 13. If you don't have this constructor, you don't get error.
Yeah.
Because by the time of class object creation team, by the time of class object creation, so you have to know what the phases are happening. Let's say here, observe. So in this example, I'm having a B, right? So if this statement will execute, what will happen, team? Already we know there will be a creation of a memory using a reference. Here, what is the reference, team? Here I'm taking B, right? So inside this memory, by using this memory reference, what you can execute, team?
Methods and variables.
Methods and variables. Very good, right? Now, also along with the creating of memory, so there is a one more step in here. So it will also execute this class default constructor. Along with memory allocation, also execute or call default constructor. Now, where I'm having a B class default constructor, it is not there.
Yeah.
But so observe here. So always remember, if you're creating object of any class, so you're also calling that class default constructor. So internally, whether you mention or not mention, so program will create a default constructor for this class like this. By the time of execution, so what the compiler will do, team? So compiler will create a memory for your class, and also it will execute a default constructor. Whether you mention or not mention, by the time of execution, program will create a default constructor for your each and every class by the time of object creation. Now coming to this one. Let's say in this class, so this is what type of constructor?
Default constructor.
Default constructor. Observe here, I'm removing the default constructor. Line number 19, it is getting error. The key point here you have to remember, so here always by the time of class object creation, program will create a default constructor. But here one condition, terms and conditions apply. Like Amazon, Flipkart offer is a terms and condition here. So what the terms and condition here? So always your class should not contain any constructor. If your class contain any constructor, now program will not create a constructor. If your class does not contain any constructor, let's say this time, this class is not having any constructor. This time program will create a constructor for your class. Let's say here I am taking constructor. This is, as a programmer, I am taking a constructor. Now this time this will execute this one, this my constructor. Now if I am not having a constructor, now by the time of object creation, program will create a constructor for your class. By the time of execution, program will always check if your class having at least one constructor, it won't touch. If your class having if your class not having at least at least one constructor, it will create a constructor for you, that too default constructor, but not a parameterized constructor. Observe the example. Observe, if I'm having parameterized constructors, observe here I'm getting error line number 19. What did he saying? Boss, there are no any default constructor in your class, so there are a parameterized constructors, single parameter and double parameter. If you want to call single, pass single parameter. If you want to call double parameters, pass double parameter. Okay, one key point here you have to remember. So always, so by the time of class object creation, program will create a default constructor. But the condition is what?
Only if there is no constructor.
Your class should not have
Constructor.
constructor, any constructor. Right? Let me ask you a few questions, team. You will get a more clarity on this. Question number 1. What is the syntax of object creation? Tell me, team. Syntax of
Class
object.
name,
Class name.
object
Reference.
reference
Object name or a reference name.
New.
equal to new class name of
Keyword.
Constructor. New constructor name.
Constructor name.
constructor name.
Good. Now, question number 2. Observe carefully, team. Always program create constructor for a class by the time of
Object creation.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Based on terms and conditions.
Why yes? So I'm having a class. In that class, I have a constructor. Now, if I execute that class, my program will create a constructor or not?
No.
So by the time of creating a constructor, it will check whether is this class having a constructor. If it is no, it will create. If it is yes, it won't touch your class.
Yeah.
So the answer is no.
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 So all and always program creates default constructor. Yes sir.
No.
Observe
Yes.
here. If your class having a at least one constructor, program won't create a constructor. If it is your class not having a constructors, program will create a constructor, that to default constructor, but not parameterized. See how you can call a parameterized constructor team by passing a parameter, right? Now,
Yeah.
how come program create a constructor and how come pass a value? It's not possible, right? So as a
Yeah.
programmer, you have to provide a parameter by the time of calling a constructor or creating an object. Now the statement, observe here. Always program create a default constructor. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Now, program have a ability to create parameterized constructor. Yes or no?
No.
No. It can create only the default constructor. That too when your class should not have at least
Constructor.
one.
One constructor. At least one constructor.
Oh, clear, right?
Yeah.
Naresh?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks. Let me summarize one more time. So constructor. So people are saying same like a method. Even you can also say, you can say same thing. So it's an executable block. Consider same like a method. But when the let me say the difference first. So when the method will execute in as a programmer, so if there is a method as a programmer, you have to call that method. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it is a constructor, so no need to call it. When the constructor will execute in by the time of object creation, automatically your class constructor will execute, and if your class having a parameter and default, based on your supplying a parameter of constructor, that constructor will going to execute. No need to call explicitly. Method you have to, as a programmer, you have to call explicitly which method you have to call, where you need to call, on top of which reference you want to call.
Yeah.
Right? So always remember, no need to call constructor explicitly. Now here, what is the main advantage of constructor team? Can anyone?
By the object creation, the the program will execute it automatically. Default.
You can guess it.
Maybe the memory.
Okay, okay. See, without this also, I can able to allocate memory for this class. Yes or no?
Yeah.
That's what we have been doing until now, before the constructor topic. The main use of constructor team, I have a use case, so people will use same thing. I have a piece of code. I want to execute that piece of code before executing my method. I'm repeating. I have a piece of code that I have to execute before executing my method. I'll give you the example. Public void test method. Let's say this is, I'll give you the numbers, code number 2. I'll give you this one, code number 1. Now, code number 2, where I'm entering team? Sorry.
Both are good.
Sorry. Now, code number 2, where I'm maintaining team.
Sixth line on test method.
Now, I want to call this code number 2. Before that code number 2, I want to execute code number 1.
Yeah.
Now, if I execute this same program, what will happen, team?
Can
Yeah, we'll get code number 1 first, I think. I guess.
Observe here.
the default constructor will call
1 and 2. Code number 1 and code number 2. So if I have a piece of code, I want to execute by the time of object creation. When the constructor will execute team? By the time of object creation. So before executing this test method, my code number 1 will ready before execution of code number 2. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Always inside a constructor, what the people are take, so database construct connections, variables declaration, class object creations, file loading. These are all things so mention inside a constructor team. Obviously, if you want to call a method, obviously you have to create a constructor. Nothing but class object. So if you want to call any method, before that, what you have to do, team? You have to create an object of that class. If you create object of that class, so not only creating a memory, it is also execute the class constructor. Before executing that particular class constructor, so I have a piece of code executing by the time of object creation. The main advantage of constructor is if there is any code to be executed by the time of object creation. Right? So that you can mention inside a constructor. Clear?
Yes.
Now, so this is public void a default constructor. Now, observing. Now, I'm having a 3 constructors in this class. To execute 3 constructors, what I'm doing here?
3 objects. You are creating 3 objects.
I'm creating 3 objects. Nothing but I'm creating object or I'm allocating memory for this class 3 times. Is there any way to call or execute 3 constructors by creating a single object? I want to execute 3 constructors, but I'd like to create a memory one time. Are you thinking this machine?
using this operator, this keyboard.
Very good. Very good. Using this keyword we can call, and any other way? See, observe here, inside my default constructor, This keyword only, but so this is we are calling as constructor call stream. So this constructor call. Okay. Now inside my default constructor, here what? No need to mention class name here itself. So constructor names here, nothing but same constructor, this class constructor. This always refers to the current class numbers, current class variable, current class method, current class constructor. Here, this is nothing but what? Default constructor, parameter constructor, or double parameter constructor?
Default.
Line number 6.
Single parameters constructor.
So this is single parameter. I am passing single parameter. Inside my single parameter constructor, so using this constructor call, here I am passing 2 parameters. Semicolon.
Comma.
Now we have to create objects multiple times. I'm creating object of this class and calling a default constructor. Observe, going to here. So first, before executing this code, it will call single parameter. Going to here. So before executing this code, it will execute this one.
Yeah.
Going to double parameter. Now after that, come back. Observe the execution. Run as Java application. I'm creating object only one time, able to call all constructors. This constructor call, constructor overloading. Okay. Now this is my B class. Inside a B class, no, this is my B class. If you want, you can take one more class here. Let me take my class called C. Right? Inside a C class, I'm having a public C. C class default constructor. Okay. Now let me make a relationship team. Extends C. Here, what is C? What is B?
C is parent, B is
Okay.
child.
Very good. Observing. Now, so we have seen this constructor call. Now we also have super constructor call type. Right? Now observe. If you want, you can use super constructor. Super always refers to
Parent.
Plus.
now here if you give like this, what does it mean?
It is referring parent class.
Parent class, default constructor or parameter constructor?
Default.
Default. So remember, I am calling this, I am using this constructor calls inside a constructor, not inside a methods.
Yeah.
Remember, this keyword, super keyword is different. This constructor, super constructor calls different. We also have this keyword. This is this constructor. Note this. This dot, you will give a variable or a
Method.
class name,
Method name.
right? So this is super constructor call. So here I'm calling parent class default constructor. If you have parent class parameter constructor, what you have to do here? Line number 12, you have to pass
Parameters.
parameter. Based on a parameter, your parent class constructor will execute. We will see later the example. Now, if I execute this output, what will happen, team?
Parent class will be
Code number 1 and C class default constructor.
Child class default constructor. This is C class. So C, let me save parent class default constructor. Now tell me, team, if I execute this thing, why it is okay? That good. Okay, if you execute this code, what will happen?
both codes will be parent and child.
Parent, child, parent and child. Spelling mistakes.
Constructor.
This will execute or this will execute, both are execute.
Execute. Child class.
Give me smart answer, team. You're a 3-1, so at least you can give A, B, C. At least one, one will be right. Yes or no? I'm giving 3 options. The 3 can give A, B, C. At least anyone can give one single answer. There is a chance of 33% probability. Okay, observe the output. Observe carefully, team. Just I am creating which class object? Child class or parent class?
Child class.
Child class.
Always, what is inheritance ground rule?
Child class
Child.
object should be.
We have to create object for a child class only. If you create object for a child class, you can able to execute both parent class properties and child class properties. Observe the output. Run as Java application. Simple, team. Just I am creating object of child class. I'm having a parent class. Inside my parent class, I'm having a default constructor. Inside my child class, I'm having a default constructor. Inside a default constructor, I'm calling so my parent class default constructor using constructor call.
Yeah. Super.
Okay. Super is always refers to parent class members. Super keyword refers to parent class methods and variable. Super constructor call is refers to parent class constructors. Super, so you have to say constructor call, team. Okay, we are calling constructor. Now, if it is parameterized, how to call, team?
We have to pass parameter inside super constructor.
Here we have to pass a parameter. Now observe. So as of now, I'm not passing parameter. Now let me remove this super constructor call. If I execute this one, what is the output? Child class default constructor, parent class default constructor, or both?
Both.
Class.
Yeah. Parent and child.
Mhm. Why parent and child team?
Because there is we created relation for both classes.
Mhm. Even though if I created a relationship, am I calling anywhere a parent class constructor?
No.
Only child class.
Observe one more time. Now tell me the answer. I'll ask you one by one. Right? So this is also try yourself, this example.
Okay.
Tell me the answer, team. Just observe one minute, just 1 second. Just tell me the answer. This is a one entry question, team.
Say only child class constructor will execute. Child class default constructor. Answer.
Is that Ashwini answer?
Yeah.
So Ashwini is saying child class. Okay. Bhavya,
Yeah, maybe child class.
maybe child class. Very good. Naresh,
Yes, I am expecting also child class.
observe team. Observe carefully. You may wonder. So by seeing output, so I commented this one. If you want, I'll remove this one. Let it be commented. Okay. And as Java application.
Oh,
Complete confusion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple. See, whether you mention or not mention, before
We create
executing
object
current
for
class constructor, so there is
yeah.
always, it will call parent class constructor, default constructor. Now observing, now observe the steps. So here, concentrate on line number 16 only. Line number 16. So up to know what you know, just we are creating object of B class. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From today onwards, so if I am creating object of this class, what will happen, team? Class name object team is called new constructor. So this is not only creating object, it is also calling this class default constructor. If your class not having a default constructor, program will create default constructor for your class by the time of execution. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and so if your class having a constructor, whether you mention or not mention, before executing this class constructor, first of all, it will check whether this is class having parent or not. If it is having a parent, and also if this class having a constructor or not, first check the parent class constructor, execute it first, and then child class constructor. Step by step. Object creation syntax. Calling a constructor. If your class having constructor, it will program won't create a constructor. If your class not having constructor, program will create a constructor. Let's consider in this example, we are having a constructor in this class. And before executing this one, this will check whether this class having a parent or not. Yes, it is having a parent. And so if this class not having a constructor, create a default constructor again for this parent class. If this class having a constructor, execute the constructor. So earlier we are calling constructor explicitly, whether you mention or not mention. So this is an optional. Before executing current class constructor, it will always execute parent class constructor. That's it.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. Try to confuse you one more time. Class D, right? C extends D. Sorry. Right. Now, if I execute this program, how many constructors will execute? 1, 2, 3, 0.
3 constructors.
What are those 3?
B class constructor and C class and D class.
In D class, I'm not having constructor.
But for the object creation, we can take it as a default constructor.
I'm not creating object of D class constructor. D class object.
D class default constructor is called by.
Very good, very good, very good. So I'm trying to say same thing. See, in this example also, here I am not creating C class object. Yes or no? I am creating a B class object. Always inheritance. That is the main intention of inheritance ground rule table. If you are having a relationship classes, so that's why people are always prefer try to create object of a child class so that you can able to execute both parent class properties and child class properties with child class reference, and also child class object can handle self class constructors and all parent class constructors. In my D class, even though if you don't have a constructor, by the time of object creation, which object creation? My end child class. I'm repeating, my end child class object creation time, it will also execute all parent class constructors. Clear?
Yeah.
So I'll give you one task. Just try to take 4 classes like this: A, B, C, D. Right? Now try to execute with parameter with default constructor. One time execute without parameters and one time execute with parameter. And with parameter, if you take combination single parameter, double parameter, I'll be very happy. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please let me know if you have any questions, any queries, or if you want to repeat one more time. I'm very happy. No issues.
Can you explain real-time example using constructor?
Extend real-time example. Okay. Okay. Now, so this is my class. In this class, I would like to maintain a constructor. How to maintain a constructor? Come on, team. Access specifier, constructor.
And
Constructor name should be class name,
class.
right? Now, so here I'm having a functionality called right. Now, this function is nothing but application login team, right? So if you pass username and password, so this method will try to log into this application. So here just I'm printing the username which I'm passing here. And here just I'll printing password which I'm passing to this function. Now this function what will do, team? Just it will check for whether user able to log in or not. That's it, right? Now, so if you want to verify whether the user is having the access of this application, first of all, what I have to check, team? Whether this user is already having the account or not. So usually people will store these usernames and password in a database, right? So here I'll make connect to database. Okay. Now if I want to execute this method, how to execute, team? Obviously, we have to create object of this class, right? Now class name, object name equals to new
Constructor.
constructor name. Now the object dot login. Now here it is asking pass username and password. So this my username is this one and my password is this is a string, right? You have to pass in it double quotes. This is my password, right? Observe here. If I execute this thing, what will happen, team? Observe. Before verifying the user name and password, so here I'm trying to connect to the database. Without connection of the database, I cannot verify. So the piece of code which you want to execute before some functionality or by the time of class object creation, when this code will execute, team? I'm repeating, when this code will execute by the time of object creation. When you will create object for this class, whenever you want to call a method from this class, you may get one more doubt. We'll have a static memory and non-static. Yes, sir. Remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when the static memory will be ready, team?
While class loading.
Class
By
loading.
the time of class loading. Now, when the constructor will execute?
Object
creation.
When the time of object creation. And usually when we can create object for a class? Whenever you have a method, so if you want to execute a method so and so class, let's say I want to execute this method in this class. How to execute? I want to execute login method. How to execute it?
by creating object.
By creating object in any class. First of all, if I want to execute this one, this is a non-static, right? I want to execute this method. How to execute? By the time of object creation. Now, before calling this method, I have to create an object. So there is a code I want to execute by the time of object creation, not by the time of class loading. Okay.
Okay.
This all depends upon object creation and constructor execution time. Okay, team.
Yeah.
Thank you, team. That's all for the day. So please let me know if you have any questions.
No.
Right. Now let's come up with the differences between method and constructor, team. People will ask you always, so what is the difference between constructor and method? Already we know, right? Simply. So method to write source code, constructor. Here also we can write source code. For methods, we can pass a parameter. For constructor also we can pass a parameter. So by using method, we can return a values, we can return object, we can return references. By using constructor, can we return the?
No.
No.
Now, by using method, we can overload. Can we overload constructors?
Yeah.
Yes.
So by using methods, we can override. Can we override constructors?
No.
Why no? So what is overriding definition?
Having same method signature in relational classes.
Two relationship classes. Here,
Yes.
can we maintain constructor signature in two different classes?
Yeah.
Sorry. Can I maintain same signature, constructor signature in two classes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can.
No.
No, sorry. No. No.
what is a signature name? Signature nothing but
Yeah. Method
a
name and
method,
parameters.
method
Sorry.
name and parameter. So collectively we are calling as signature. So if it is a
Yeah.
constructor, constructor name and parameter, right? So
Yeah.
what is constructor name, team?
Class name.
The name is class name. How come two classes having the same name?
Yeah. We
Right.
can't.
So we
Can't take.
cannot, yes, we cannot override constructors. And what is the syntax of method?
Access specifiers.
Mhm.
Return
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 type
type
and
and
parameters.
Return type, method name, and parameter. What is the constructor signature?
Access specifier and class
specifier
name.
class constructor name.
Constructor name. Yeah. Both are same.
Very good. When the method will execute,
By calling,
we
we have
have
to.
to explicitly, as a programmer, you have to explicitly call the method wherever you want and whatever the method you want. And when the constructor will execute,
It while
By
object creation, internal
object
calling.
creation.
No need to have call it.
okay. Clear? And tomorrow also I'll ask the same things. Just come up with the differences and try to Google it so you'll get it. Right? Before that, just practice these things and you will get a more clarity if you differentiate or if you compare constructor and method. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No questions, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, team.
Thank you.
Thank you.